Horror ARGs like the Backrooms or Monument Mythos or Greylock, they all have one thing in common: a predecessor called the SJS. I'm obviously being sarcastic, but back about 5 years ago, me and my friends tried to make a horror comedy ARG. We had no experience, and this was really before the scene like super took off, but we had an idea and a camera, and we wanted to fuse horror and comedy, which to our knowledge hadn't been done before. And to be fair, in the way that we did it, it still really hasn't, though we didn't necessarily do it to its peak possibility. But in our defense, we were sophomores in high school, one camera, and we didn't even know how to use an editing software yet. But looking back on it, I think we did pretty all right. But recently, me and the boys have been talking, and we want to do a new project like this. We want to do a film in a horror scene. And before we can do that, we have to look back at what we've done before and see what worked and what didn't work. So welcome at my high school attempt at an ARG. And in this, I'm just going to be showing clips. So if you want to see the full thing, they're all linked down below. Now, without further ado, let's begin. The two main characters start at a place called Claude's Creek. It's two young men, Skylar and Joey, and their cameraman, Evan. We learn that a young kid was bullied, which eventually led to his death. The two professionals use their ghost hunting skills.
You see those lights?
We've seen a few.
It's either a truck or a demon.
Oh crap, do you see that?
I'm leaning on demon.
Is the camera picking it up?
And after some close calls and scary encounters,
Evan, how are you feeling right now?
I'm so scared right now. I don't know what to do.
the boys eventually have to retreat due to the threat that the ghost possesses.
Oh no! We got him done!
The next video in the series is actually the last on the timeline, and it picks up with the two ghost hunters testing their survival skills, trying to survive 24 hours in the wilderness. They're dropped off by the crew in the middle of nowhere with nothing but a cameraman, their wits, and good looks. After getting the important stuff done, like building a shelter, setting up a fire, the circle of protection, they hunt for some food, not without its consequences.
Meat's looking about done, but it does appear that the smell is attracting some of the local flora.
Yeah, I've seen a couple coyotes around.
Fauna.
It seemed this fire must have been sabotaged, which left Joey exposed.
Why is there fire making such weird sounds?
Oh! Hey! Joey! The circle! Go! Go! Go!
As we attempted to escape, something seemed to be on our tail. As we make our way back to the campsite, we see that Joey did survive the attack, thanks to Chekhov's knife. But Smiley trips and falls, and we have to leave him there. And when we make it back to the camp, we are shocked by what we saw. In the second video on the timeline, we rejoin our two ghost hunters, this time at a very well-known haunted place called Witch's Gate. After exploring the property for a bit, they attempt to contact the ghost. Using a Ouija board, they try to contact the spirit, but they have no luck.
G. Whoa. M. Okay, Ligma.
Is it done?
Well, this thing obviously doesn't speak English. Ligma's not
Talking
working.
to a Spanish ghost.
What's Ligma?
Taking it one step further, they try to make a sacrifice to it, to rouse the spirit. With no other options, they have to perform a seance. After finding the perfect spot, the seance begins.
As you can see, we're working on our ritual area.
That's pretty good. So we've drawn our pentagon?
We've made our pentagon, and so we're now about to...
From in the movies, that's supposed to be the
way to summon them.
shape they like.
Here, let's light our candles. This is it. Are you ready? On. Recorded. This is time, Joe. Smiley?
Skylar?
What? It's Jewish.
After deeming it a fail, they leave the site, presumably leaving Smiley dead there. In the fourth video in the timeline, it opens up explaining that this is salvaged CCTV footage, and it has been recreated presumably in the order in which it happened. The two boys seem to be doing some experiments, and when they play the tape recorder at a certain frequency, yeah, I know that's not how tape recorders work, there seems to be disturbances. Then the camera seemingly flips to a different perspective. Another Joey and Skylar are working on a very similar project before they notice the disturbances. After the American Idiot album falls, Joey is too disheartened and we have to take a break. After the break, the boys resume their work and come up with the Oscar formula. They apply the formula to the device and play it at the frequency before something in the dark happens that we cannot see. Then the boys dub the formula a fail before the camera cuts back to now the empty red room. The final video in the series, but the first in the timeline, is an introduction to Skylar and Joey. It's interviews before they go on their first ghost hunt. Skylar explains his first encounter with his first paranormal entity.
It's haunted me ever since, but I just have to show you. There's really no way to describe it. This is in my notebook here. I sketch most of the creatures that I see, and then as you can see here, I took a little creative liberty, but the idea is still the same. It was a creature, as you can see, it has the body of a cat, but the head of Homer Simpson.
And Joey explains why he felt drawn to ghost hunting as well.
Why did you start hunting ghosts with me?
What?
I said, why did you start hunting ghosts?
Oh, the voices.
So have you seen any ghouls or ghosts of your own before?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Here, give me a second. So I'm gonna look up a picture, guys, show you what I saw, or something to the extent of what I saw. Let me. God, what is it? I just had it.
Oh, you're good, man.
It was literally on the tip of my tongue. Oh, I remember. I was visited by this entity. I was probably about 3, and she told me to sleep with a knife. And I remember when I first did it, I did sleep with a knife, nothing happened. So then she asked me to kill my dad, but I couldn't do it because I really liked my dad at that point.
Joey explains his qualifications for this ghost hunting endeavor.
So what tools are you proficient in the ghoul and ghost hunting area?
Tripede flexor. I learned that from a young age.
Yeah.
And then the Holy Pfizer, but I would have. You're blurring my face, right?
Dude, I told you I don't know how to do that.
I can't be seen like this in this state on camera. My identity needs to be protected.
Okay, I'll blur it.
Okay, good. But the Holy Pfizer, and then those are the 2 ones I'm mainly good with, though. So.
Followed up by a paranormal experience Skylar had. And then this video is wrapped up, which in turn wraps up the series. Other than a quiz in the description, which has a few more pieces of revealing information about what is going on here. And obviously, though the series wasn't completed, though I wish it could have been, we just all went off to college and recording a video became a lot more difficult. There was meant to be 2 more episodes in this first part of the series. A season 1, if you will. And if you're interested, they were supposed to be called How to Perform Necromancy and Surviving in the Woods Part 2, which would be the 4th and last video in the timeline respectively. And in this series, we heavily leaned into comedy and the parody aspect of it. Now that I'm not 17 anymore, I believe I can both write better jokes and actual scary things. Though we did try and make a little bit of horror back then. Our goal was really to put like absurd characters into an actual scary environment. We just were very limited with what we could do. And although this series isn't critically acclaimed, and I've kind of ragged on it a little bit, I do think that it actually is pretty good in hindsight, if not just for nostalgia purposes. But with what I've learned, looking back through this, I want to use it to build off and work on this new project, which hopefully will begin in the works soon. So if you want to see my process of trying my hand at something a lot bigger than anything I've ever done before, be sure to subscribe. And if you're also not interested in that, I do a lot of stuff on here. Trying to get back into uploading weekly, should be able to do that the whole month of September at least, hopefully for the rest of the year. But if you want to check out my other stuff, check that out. If you don't, at least thank you for watching.